Hi Virgo, welcome to your reading for December 2019. I know this light is kind of weird right now, but I'm going to make sure to put the cards real close to the screen so you can see them. And this is mostly about me talking and explaining the cards, so I hope you guys will forgive me on that one. So I hope you guys are enjoying your holiday season. Before we get started, the star just popped up. Okay, Virgo, this is beautiful. So this shows me that this is a real destiny month for you guys already. We're seeing that in your reading. So if some of you have been kind of waiting for a sense of divine timing, you know, I'm not a big believer in divine timing in the sense that you have to wait for something outside of you to make something happen, right? I believe we are empowered to create our own reality. But there is such a thing as when is the right time? And that includes when are you ready for something? And so I think for a lot of you, Virgo, you're going to be seeing in the month of December, you're ready, and so things start happening. So the way I do these readings is a little bit different from some tarot that you may have watched on YouTube if you're a big tarot fan. I definitely like to do the prediction thing. I want to show you what's coming up for you, but I like to interact with the future in a little bit of a different way. So the way I do this is we're going to look at your current situation, and then we're going to get some advice on how you can best leverage your situation to create the outcome you want. And so my readings are really based on the idea that we are co-creators with the universe. We create our own reality. Obviously, the universe knows what's best for us and knows what we want in our heart, but it's a dance, right? You also have choice, and your choices should always feel really right and authentic to you. And if they don't, you know, that's not what it's meant to be. And so you absolutely have the power to create the outcome that you want, Virgo. And so I hope that's really empowering for you to know going into December, especially because it seems like a lot of you have been waiting for a certain kind of divine timing. And ironically, that divine timing might just be you realizing that you have the power to influence this situation. Ooh, it is hot. Okay. Okay, Virgo. So we are going to start by looking at your path and your obstacle. So your path represents the energy that you are in this month. It's what you're intending to create. It's what you're manifesting. It's what kind of your goal for this month is. And then your obstacle is the main energy that could be getting in the way of that goal. And I don't want you to think of the obstacle as so much something outside of you preventing you from having what you want. I'd like you to think more of it as something within you that you're being asked to look at and resolve so that you can stay on this awesome path, Virgo. So once again, it's a bit of a more self-empowered take on tarot. Just having a sip of my water here. Oh, beautiful. Okay, these are cool cards. I haven't really seen either of these cards in any of the other readings yet, so this is awesome, Virgo. And this actually makes a lot of sense for you as a sign. You're, in general, a very organized, self-disciplined sign that likes to focus on kind of the small details. And the High Priest really definitely has a lot of that energy. The High Priest is the counterpart to the High Priestess, which is all about intuition. And these two figures are very much kind of people on a spiritual path. But while the high priestess does it in more of an intuitive way, the high priest is more about learning. He's more about studying and educating himself and kind of putting some discipline into the spiritual practice. So that's the archetype of the high priestess and the high priest, but this doesn't have to be a spiritual thing. I think in general, this is going to be sort of a month of research for a lot of you Virgos. I mean, it couldn't make more sense for your sign. This is going to be a month of research. It's going to be, it could be based on something that you want to do in the future, such as a new field that you want to get into, and you're kind of researching, learning more about it and how to get into that. This could be a kind of a self-improvement journey where you're reading a lot of self-help, self-improvement, maybe spiritual books, and learning a lot of new things. It's definitely a month of learning. You could even be taking a class or going back to school in some way, or just going to school, period. And your obstacle is 8 of Pentacles. So this couldn't be a simpler message, Virgo. The fact is, yes, you're enjoying this learning process, but yeah, it's going to take some work. It's going to take some work to get to where you want to go. And I think, we'll see what your advice cards say for you, but I think you're kind of being told, usually I advise people to tune in more with their intuition and do things based on their inspiration, but we can all get out of balance, and sometimes you just need a little bit of structure to get yourself back in a rhythm. And I really think that that's kind of what this month is saying to you, Virgo. It's kind of saying, like, really lean into your Virgo tendencies this month, because I think they're really going to help you with this new learning journey that you're on. Okay. So we are looking at your recent past, Virgo. And you have the 7 of Swords. And this is just to get a little context on where you've been recently before we look at advice for you and your future. So 7 of Swords is this feeling of escape. It can have many kind of layers or shades to it. In the context of your reading, I'm seeing this as I'm seeing a couple possibilities. A, I think you could have felt like you have escaped from a lifestyle or a situation that wasn't really fulfilling for you. And you may have felt betrayed by people or circumstances involved. And that's kind of part of what this learning journey is for you, Virgo. It's a bit of a investing in yourself, a bit of a starting over with something new. There could also just be the really simple scenario that some shit went down at your workplace. You felt betrayed in some way. You felt that you weren't valued. Doesn't just have to be workplace. It could be whatever kind of area this learning journey is in. I feel like there was some sense of betrayal, whether from, relationships in your life, and that's making you get into kind of self-improvement or whatever it might be. There is that sense of a kind of betrayal of your trust happening, and you having to learn how to trust yourself more and get more in tune with yourself. And that kind of created this 4 of Pentacles energy of feeling a little insecure in your life. Feeling like you have to protect what you have because maybe you can't trust people. Maybe you are learning that you can't rely on some external structures or institutions in your life as much as you thought you could. For a lot of you, this absolutely could be work. I'm getting the feeling it's kind of career focused or education focused for many of you. I think for a lot of you, there's a feeling that you probably invested in a traditional education or career path, only to kind of find that that didn't necessarily guarantee things as much as you thought it would. And so now you're investing in yourself in a different way and investing in something that maybe feels more authentic to you. And that takes some learning and some research, Virgo. Now, I know that got pretty specific there, but these are just general messages referring to general energies. So you may not be dealing with a work situation, but if this general kind of message resonates for you right now, then please take the overall idea and apply it to your situation. Oh, yeah, this couldn't make more sense, Virgo. Yeah. So we're looking at the underlying energies for you now, the underlying kind of patterns and thoughts that are influencing you to be on the path that you're on. And it's so clear. Tower is the breakdown of old structures, and Ace of Swords is clarity. So things definitely broke down in some way, Virgo, in recent months. And that doesn't have to be a negative thing at all. That absolutely, I think you already realize that, Virgo, because we're here in December. That absolutely paves the way for a new beginning for you that will feel more fulfilling. But interestingly, it's not like you're, saying goodbye to any kind of structure, because you do have a very structured type of personality, the way you approach things, Virgo. And so most of the time, I feel like the advice for you is probably more get in tune with your feelings more, get in tune with your intuition more. Don't be so hard on yourself, or whatever it might be. But this month is a really cool feeling of you kind of creating your own structure. Maybe you saying, okay, I really want to do this project or write a book or, learn this much about this new craft or whatever it might be, and setting a schedule for when you do that and when you study that. And so there's this really cool feeling of you kind of supporting yourself in this transition out of whatever these old structures were. And this is not something you're uncertain about. You felt very clear. You feel very clear that that stuff was meant to break down. You feel good about this decision and the place that you're in now, Virgo. So that is great to see. Wow, this is fascinating. Another sign got the exact same two advice cards. Or maybe it wasn't both of these together, but yeah, I don't think it was. But these cards have been a common theme for signs this month of December. And they do have a different flavor to the rest of your cards, Virgo, because the rest of your cards are very grounded. They're air signs and earth sign element cards. And then we've got these two water signs. And there's really this feeling that, so everything we've said up until now still holds true. You're sticking with structure. You're sticking with creating a routine, Virgo, for yourself as you support yourself in this transition. And so these advice cards are not discounting that at all. Even though Ace of Cups is all about feeling emotionally renewed, an emotional new beginning, feeling fulfilled. And Knight of Cups is almost, a very similar energy with sort of a sense of romance to it. Someone bringing you a real sense of relief and hope in your life. And so with these two cards as your advice cards, Virgo, I really think it's telling you to find the emotional renewal in the structure that you're creating for yourself. And I think that's a really profound message for you, because you can get bogged down in details, and it can be both a strength and a weakness, right? Your propensity for detail, Virgo. And you're leaning into that this month. But in order to recover from this breakdown, because it is scary, and it did leave you with some wounds. It left you feeling insecure in your material possessions, your stability in the world. And that's not a great thing for Virgos generally. That's generally not something you guys would be very comfortable with, because you thrive on that. You thrive on your surroundings. You thrive on the little things that make up your existence. But what these beautiful advice cards are saying to you is, if you create balance and a certain healthy amount of routine for yourself in this learning, re-educating process, like the High Priest, Virgo, you will be able to relax enough in this transition to feel some emotional relief, to feel some renewal, and even to feel some healing from this tower breakdown of your old reliance on structures that were in your life. And that's really important, Virgo, because you need time to recover, to build into this next stage. And I think this is why the advice isn't, or the advice kind of is actually, but the rest of the reading isn't so much follow your intuition, don't box yourself in. You're going through such a transition right now in terms of letting go of all these structures that you kind of need some regimentedness and some kind of high priest energy just to support yourself through this and just to be able to relax. It's like when things get to be too overwhelming, you need a plan. And that's what's going on this month for you, Virgo. And if you lean into that the right way and a healthy way, you're really going to freaking enjoy this learning, growing, educating process. You could have a ton of fun and feel really fulfilled reading really cool, empowering self-help books or learning a new study or craft or career. It could be a really emotionally fulfilling time for you. Oh, okay. Wow. Interesting. All right, Virgo. So we are looking at your near future now, the future that you are going to manifest based on following this advice. And I normally don't read reversals, and that's when the card is upside down, just because it kind of creates a lot of different things to talk about, and we only have so much time. But the card was reversed. And in your case, this really says a lot. So first, in your near future, you have the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is a passionate energy of charging forward, absolutely on fire. So some of you might feel really relieved to hear that, because it shows that by investing in this kind of education process, whatever field that might be in, you're going to start getting some traction by the end of the month. You're going to start seeing that thing that you've been investing in really take off in some way. And the main thing that you're going to feel is you're going to feel certain. You have Two of Pentacles in reverse. And Two of Pentacles is all about this sort of indecisiveness, especially with regards to money or career or physical, tangible aspects of our lives, which is definitely what's going on for most of you Virgos this month. But you're not going to feel that way anymore. at the end of this month. And that's because you've invested in a great trajectory that really has the ability to create some awesome stability for you. What an awesome reading, Virgo. I'm really happy for you guys going into the new year. If you would like a personal reading with me to elaborate more on some of this or just talk about something else altogether, I offer a couple options. I'll leave the link to purchase one of those in the box below. They're pretty affordable, so I would love if you guys would check that out. I would love to do a reading for you guys. All right, I will see you Virgos in the new year. Bye.